I use rosewood dust, and I have a block of rosewood dust, and I just grind it, and I create some fine rosewood dust. It really reacts with super glue. So what I would do,
have your wife over the top.
anyway, I would just I would take some rosewood dust. Rosewood dust is great for inclusions and open areas where the bark is. But I can take this rosewood dust and I can put it in between the bark and the hardwood or the sapwood.
What kind of dust?
This is rosewood. Rosewood dust. And I learned that in Aramont years ago, and it's been so helpful. And then after I pack the void with rosewood dust, and then I'll just drop some super glue in there.
What you do with the super glue colors the wood is you tell people that's a natural, function of the wood.
And I try to put the super glue not too far into the hardwood if I can help it. I just try to capture just that line as best as possible so it doesn't stain, like Terry said. But basically I don't want that bark to come off because I'm going to do the inside now. I'm going to take it fairly thin. If the bark comes off, I just waste a lot of time. So looking for other voids for...
I've understood that if you cut a tree in the winter time, that sometimes that helps keep the bark on.
The bark is more inclined to stick.
Yes, but if you're cutting it in the spring, summer, or fall. So. Has anybody else found
Well,
more
with the sap's
success?
up, yeah. I mean, if you cut wood when the sap's up, you got to turn it quickly because if you don't, that's when you get the funk.
Right.
Winter time's the best.
Right. So do most of you, when you cut something, you mark when it was cut, so when you go back in the pile, you... Or is that just not me?
One thing with super glue, the accelerator, how many people use accelerator with super glue?
Yes.
Okay, it will speed it up, but it also turns it white. It can turn it white. And sometimes it's hard to get rid of the white. So I typically will seal with super glue and then just use chips. And that will get it to cure as well.
Now, Chris, I have some, instead of the spritz bottle,
Yeah.
spray. It comes out so fine,
Yep.
it doesn't tend to do that.
Okay.
It has to do with how much CA glue there is. If
That's
it's a
right.
very thin layer, it won't go white. If it's really thick,
Right.
it goes right away.
If you never want to buy an accelerator again, all you have to do is get a spray bottle from some beauty store, put water in there, and a little bit of baking soda. And it is exactly the same as accelerator.
Really? Baking soda and water?
Baking soda
In a
and water,
spritz bottle?
and it'll accelerate.
Really? So,
Try it.
Doesn't water cause CA?
Yeah,
Just water by itself.
I don't know by itself, but I mean,
water by itself
Dan
will do
wood.
it. It'll turn white though.
I've been using the method to use linseed oil to smooth the surface and cure it. Have you tried linseed oil?
I've never used linseed oil. No. But I did use the baking soda and water for a long time, and
Yeah.
that does work, and it doesn't cost you anything. But it costs
What's the
things.
percentage kind of doing for 6 ounce?
6 ounce by teaspoon. It's a very small quantity of baking soda. You can experiment with it to
Yeah.
see how it works. But it, where you get $5 for a bottle of accelerator, you can just make it.
For the spray can. Yes.
So I would use the same tool because I want to be careful on the inside of this.
I would take that thing and put it on the floor.
You want to take the tailstock off?
Yeah.
Before, or in something like that.
Here again on the inside, quick little blip. I was in a hurry, I wasn't paying attention safety-wise, and I was working on a pretty ragged, rugged, burly natural edge. I didn't have a glove on.
Oh, yeah.
And I was tired, I wasn't in the right state of mind, it was late at night, I was turning, and I was trying to get it done, and my chisel slipped and drew my index finger into the natural edge, and just ripped that whole skin right off. So ever since then, I always wear a glove, and I make sure to keep my hand back here, because this is really dangerous.
Yeah. It hurts. Yeah. For weeks.
Start at the rim because I want support for my cut with the thicker wood down below. As long as I have some wood down below, I have more support, it's more stable at the rim side.
I learned that the hard way.
Well, I usually get the rim to the final thickness that I want before I go too far down. Thin like this, as long as it's not, it works well when the piece is a solid piece and no natural edge, but if you keep your hand flat, you gotta be really careful. Just get a feel for putting your hand there. You can create a support for that area. I'm gonna put my hand there, but I'm gonna use my thumb to push the chisel through the bar. So the same tools, same type of tools. Look at it, it's about where it's a little thicker here than it is down there, so I got to work on this.
Chris, are you applying pressure with the glove hand or just trying to
I'm
gauge your
really
depth?
applying a lot of pressure. I'm holding this, I'm really pushing on the side of that piece. I'm using my thumb to push the chisel through. Basically just creating a fulcrum here, but actually using my thumb like that to drive it through. So I got to pay more attention to this edge, and I'll just finish that real quick.